Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the show. We had a great weekend in the NFL playoffs. The divisional round is arguably one of the best weekends in the NFL. Specifically, today in this video, we're going to be talking about Sunday's games, and we'll get to Saturday's games in the next video because Sunday's games were the bigger games, in my opinion, and had a lot more on the line. So those games being the Bills and the Ravens, and the Rams and the Eagles. And it was a good weekend overall. But we need to get to the elephant in the room here. We got to talk about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. The Bills and Ravens, it was a good game. We'll get to the actual question overall, but let's just get a look at over the game. Specifically, both teams had open drive touchdowns, and it set the tone for the game. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a shootout. Can Lamar get this monkey off this back? Is Josh Allen going to be able to elevate his team against a better squad, in my opinion, in the Ravens? And the first half was dominantly the Bills and Josh Allen. And Lamar turned the ball over. And this is the thing that gets Lamar in the playoffs every year. He doesn't turn the ball off. First of all, Lamar Jackson is arguably one of the best regular season quarterbacks in NFL history. But it's like when he gets to the playoffs, he just loves to turn the ball over. I don't know why. He made a horrendous throw to the right sideline in the first quarter. And I don't even know if it was in the first or the second quarter. It was a bad snap, but Lamar done Lamar Jackson things. He was able to recover the ball, and he wanted to make a play. Then he gets tackled, and then he fumbles the ball, and the Bills turned that into 7 points. The first half was about how dominant the Bills looked, and then how bad the Ravens looked, and how bad the Ravens were getting away from the game plan. It was pass, and there wasn't a lot of running. I don't even think I even saw Lamar Jackson even do a quarterback run, just a straight quarterback power. I didn't see it. That's what their bread and butter was the last couple games, just run QB power. Last week against Pittsburgh, 13 run play drives, just running straight QB. They got away from the game plan, and I don't know why. It is extremely frustrating every time we talk about the Ravens in the playoffs. Lamar's not playing how he needs to play and how he plays during the regular season, and the Ravens get away from the game plan. I don't understand it, and I don't know why. And going into halftime, I was scared, like, oh my gosh, it's going to be about Lamar Jackson again. But give credit to the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. In the second half, they stormed back. The Bills were pretty much in cruise control. Josh Allen didn't seem to get anything going on offense. A lot of drives that were stalling around midfield. Wasn't very reluctant to go on. They were just trying to manage the game at this point. Basically, their offense was non-existent. And then the Ravens, they started running the ball, started pounding the rock. And just, they got to, the score was 19-27. And Lamar needed to give the Ravens a drive. And I don't even think it was 19. Just they had a drive. We're not going to talk about the 1927 drive. Let's go before that. Just turnovers. Mark Andrews had arguably the worst game in his career. If I'm not mistaken, if the stats were right, but he dropped 2 passes and fumbled the football. And he dropped the biggest pass in his career. And so the drive before the go-ahead, I got to have it drive. Mark Andrews, the Ravens are driving. Mark Andrews fumbles the football. The second half was a lot about Lamar just actually being Lamar. And inevitably, in the end, he got let down by his team. Just dropping passes, fumbling the ball. I mean, it's just one thing after another in this whole game. And then let's get to the 1927. The score is 19-27. Your defense stalls the Bills. The Bills had the ball on like the 2-yard line. It was 4th down. They said, hey, we're going to kick it. Kick the field goal. That's what I thought they needed to do. So here's Lamar. I need this drive. I got to go get this drive. It's 1927. It's do or die time. And Lamar Jackson sends him down the field with ease. The final drive, Lamar was able to, in that pocket he was able to text his girlfriend, call his mama, make him a sandwich, and with a soda pop. Credit to Chris Broussard on First Things First. He was able to do everything. And he made a play. 25-27. And here comes a 2-point conversion, which haunts the Ravens. They got a black cat running around that franchise when it comes to 2-point conversions. When it's something about the Ravens and 2-point conversions, it's non-existent. They just don't go together. It's literally oil and water. And then we know it. Lamar Jackson put it right in his chest and he drops it. Mark Andrews drops it. And that's the ball game. And Lamar Jackson is going home early again. And this is what we got to be honest with about Lamar Jackson. It was his best performance in a playoff loss, easily. But this is what you're worried about. I'm scared Lamar Jackson is probably going to turn into Phillip Rivers. Literally. And he's way better than Phillip Rivers. Obviously, that's not even the same conversation. But what I mean is, he's in a division with so many good quarterbacks. He's not going to... They are going to be in his way for the next 10 years of his career. Pat Mahomes isn't going anywhere. Josh Allen isn't going anywhere. Joe Burrow had a down year, and he's arguably a top 5 wide receiver. He's a top 5 quarterback in everybody's opinion. So obviously he is going to be back. You don't know what Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh is going to do in the future, because you know Jim Harbaugh is a game changer, along with what the Broncos could do with Sean Payton. There's a lot of good teams in the AFC in the next couple years. And I feel like, and I don't want this to happen, that Lamar Jackson is going to turn into Phillip Rivers 2.0. Phillip Rivers, he had to deal with Peyton Manning. He had to deal with Tom Brady. He had to deal with Ben Roethlisberger. All in their prime. And Phillip Rivers was never able to get to the big game. Never was. Had some great regular seasons. But when it came to the playoffs, he wasn't able to do anything. And I feel like we're going to get to this point with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson possibly is about to win his 3rd MVP. And he's going home again. 3-5 record in the playoffs. He's been to 1 AFC Championship game last year. If this year wasn't the time to make it, with how bad the Chiefs, I won't say bad the Chiefs look, but they're not been the Chiefs that we know and love in the past. Knowing that Josh Allen and the Bills offensively is not no juggernaut, and defensively they leave a lot to be desired, especially at the cornerback position. It's just, if it's not now, when is it ever going to be? It's frustrating with Lamar Jackson, and I got a couple stats here for you. Lamar now has multiple turnovers in 4 of his 8 career playoff games. 50% of the time in the playoffs, he turns the ball over more than twice. He has multiple turnovers in 14 of 94 of his regular season starts, which is only 15%. Lamar Jackson in the regular season and Lamar Jackson in the postseason. Lamar Jackson in the postseason is average at best. And Lamar Jackson in the regular season is a future Hall of Famer, about to be a 3-time MVP. And he cannot seem to translate that play and plug it into the postseason. I get it. There's been situations like last year. Zay Flowers drops the pass. His team lets him down. The defense doesn't play well. I get it. I totally get it. But it's 25-27. The Bills only scored 27 points. They had 21 going into halftime. They basically was non-existent in the second half. And you only score 25 points as an offense. It's not good enough in today's NFL to win you a playoff game. Yes, Josh Allen didn't blow. His stat line wasn't the best. But guess what? He didn't make mistakes. When he needed to capitalize on those turnovers that the Ravens had, he capitalized on them. He turned those 2 turnovers into 10 points altogether. Lamar, on the other side, your defense didn't create turnovers. And guess what? You turned the ball over. Offensively, together, they had 3 turnovers compared to the Bills, 0. What does everybody say? What do all the Hall of Famers say about the playoffs? You cannot turn the football over. You're asking to lose. The football is a baby in the playoffs. You got to protect it and take care of it like your life depends on it. And Lamar Jackson seems to not do that as well as he does in the regular season. I don't know why. He's too talented. he's definitely too talented. He's too smart, and he is just his upside is so huge. There's no reason why Lamar Jackson shouldn't hold the Lombardi Trophy at least one time in his career. He should probably hold it more than once. But I'm scared Lamar Jackson will never be able to hold one. Because if it's not going to happen now, when is it ever going to happen? The future is incoming. You see what Jaden Daniels is doing with the Washington Commanders. You see what the Jalen Hurts and the Eagles and them, they're going to be here for a couple years. You got to worry about the other side of the NFC as well. There's 31 other teams outside of the Ravens, and even in your own conference, you have some dogs in the future at the quarterback position. Lamar, when is it going to be? I'm sorry. Honestly, this game is not 100% on you. I understand that. I totally do. But we got to stop being this Lamar apologist. He's 3-5 in the playoffs. He's darn near got the same record as Dak Prescott in the playoffs. Literally. And it's very just appalling just how bad Lamar just is in the playoffs. And Lamar is going to get a pass on this just because it's Lamar Jackson. He's too talented. He's too likable. He's about to be a 3-time MVP, which I don't believe he should. But it's just where we're at with Lamar. And just to get on, moving away from Lamar and just getting to the Bills side of things, I mean, Josh Allen did what he needed to do when he had to do it. He controlled the game, didn't turn the ball over defensively. The Bills took the ball over. They had home field advantage. I don't understand why the Ravens was even favored in this game when they were on the road going into that environment, that cold, something Lamar's really not used to, not very efficient at, and Josh Allen lives on it. He went to college in Wyoming, for Christ's sake, so he's definitely used to this kind of weather. And it was just disrespectful, and I don't understand it. I guess because maybe they beat down the Bills 35-10 in the regular season, but the regular season is non-existent. It's 0-0 going into the playoffs, and I don't understand why Vegas just thought that the Ravens was just going to go and blow the doors off the Bills. But they did great. They played well. They didn't wow you, but they did what they needed to do to win the game. So going into next week, they are going to be playing the Kansas City Chiefs, and we know that whole fiasco, Arrowhead, they're going to be in Arrowhead. They got to play what a lot of people like to say they're going to have to play the referees and the Chiefs, but it's going to be an interesting matchup. We're going to get another match between Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes, the first time since 2021, and it's going to be very entertaining to see. If I'm not mistaken, I think the last time these two did meet in the playoffs, it was when Josh Allen was not able to get the ball back. So they're finally getting to meet each other. It's going to be a great game, and I'm going to be looking forward to it. But at the end of the day, this is about Lamar, and it's getting to be gloomy for the Ravens in the near future. If with this roster they've had the last couple years, and the way the Chiefs have looked, just the way the AFC of them being able to be on top of on a stacked AFC conference. With the Ravens not being able to do it these last couple of years, I just don't know when they're going to be able to do it. And it's disheartening. It is heartbreaking, but it's got to be said. And it's frustrating for the Ravens, and I feel bad for them, but congratulations to the Bills. And we are going to move on into the next game with the Eagles versus the Rams. And this, I did pick the Rams. I'm not going to lie. I picked the Rams going into this game because I felt like the Rams offense was going to be able to do a lot more than what the Eagles offense could. But the weather played a factor into this game. And Matt Stafford was playing in a blizzard. The LA Rams is a West Coast team, and they play in a dome. So obviously they're not used to these conditions. But the story was not how bad the Rams were, which, I mean, that is a part of it. But we just got to talk about Saquon. Saquon Barkley is elevating the running back position at an all-time high right now. With all the drama the last couple years, with running backs getting paid this certain amount of money, they're getting the bare minimum compared to the other skill positions. And it's like Saquon Barkley and including Derrick Henry, they single-handedly have just elevated the running back position again. It's like, darn, we should actually invest in a good running back. He has been sensational. Saquon Barkley literally left the Giants, went to the Eagles, and became the best player on their whole roster. This man is a game changer. He is a future Hall of Famer. He literally had 4 60-yard runs yesterday. He ran the pigskin off that football. It was insanity. He is box office. He's so good. Would I kill to have him in a Dallas Cowboys jersey right now? I would. But to stop getting, loving Saquon so much, let's just get to this game and just get to the Eagles in general. To get to the Eagles' perspective, they were, again, Jalen Hurts. Just, the passing game is non-existent. I mean, I don't know what you want to say. AJ Brown, I don't know if they don't trust Jalen Hurts, or it's just like their pass game just cannot get going. And of course, Jalen Hurts, he did get hurt in this game, and he wasn't able to run. He got concussed at one point. Well, he didn't get concussed. He got his knee wrapped on him at one point. So, the play calling was very iffy going into that game, but for the rest of the game. But just overall, I know I'm ranting right now, but the Eagles just do not blow my socks off as a team. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. It's just when you watch them, they're just like, they're doing enough to get by, which is not a bad thing by any means, but they just don't look like a team that's going to win the Super Bowl this year. In my opinion, I think whoever wins the Super Bowl is coming out of the AFC, obviously, because I think the Bills left in the playoffs right now. The Bills and Chiefs are the best two teams in the playoffs. But just something when you watch the Eagles offensively, Jalen Hurts, it's like they're saying, Jalen Hurts, just please don't turn the ball over, don't screw this up. They got the training wheels on for him right now. Which you can't hate it, because Saquon Barkley's out here getting 200 yards a game rushing. The O-line's playing out of its mind with the rushing attack, but nothing about the Eagles is just blowing my socks off right now. And I'm giving the Commanders a very good chance to go into Lincoln Financial Field and give Philly a fit, because Philadelphia just makes boneheaded decisions at the end of the game. And Nick Sirianni, Saquon Barkley, at the end of the game, this is the in-game situation. Saquon Barkley literally just ran the ball 60-some yards. Okay. The Rams get the ball. I don't even remember if they went and scored a touchdown at this point. I think they did. They scored a quick touchdown. So they're down 6, 22-28. The Eagles get the ball back after Saquon Barkley just ran the ball 60-some yards. First play, they run it. They get stopped for like 3 yards. Fine. The next play, when you want to be able to chunk the time off the clock for the Rams and have positive yardage, they run a bootleg with Jalen Hurts after he just got his ankle wrapped up under him a quarter and a half ago. He hasn't been able to run the ball efficiently because he's hurt. He bootlegs out, nobody's open, and he gets sacked for like 15-plus yards. And now you're the Eagles, third down, you got to run it with Saquon and hope and pray he's going to get 60 yards again. But guess what? They know that's what that's what you were going to do on defense, so they were prepped and ready for it. And Saquon got like 3 yards, 4 yards. And you gave the Rams the ball with a chance to win. This Eagles team, Nick Sirianni is going to screw them over in these next couple games. They're not winning a Super Bowl. I don't care what nobody says. This team, for some reason, I give credit where credit is due. Jalen Hurts, for the most part, he clutches up at the end of the games, and he knows when to win the game when he needs. He makes plays when he needs to make plays. But at this point, you took that chance out of Jalen Hurts in this offense because you want to call boneheaded plays and give the other team a chance to win. I was getting scared for Philly there for a second because Matt Stafford was dealing. He got that pass with the right sideline to Puka Nacua, and they were almost in the red zone with a good minute 30 left, and they were going to burn the clock down, and the Eagles were going to have no timeouts. And I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, please don't tell me Philly's about to lose like this. And then obviously the Eagles defense, they bear down. They were able to get it. Jalen Carter got a huge sack on third down because I played the all 22 and the tight end was wide open in the middle, and he got right out of his route and was started. He just got open right when Jalen Carter was in Matt Stafford's face. Shout out to Jalen Carter because he single-handedly just won them the game. And then obviously, fourth down, Aaron pass. You know, the Rams wanted a flag, but the ball was not even in reach. I mean, yes, Darius Slay did hold, but you really don't want to make that kind of call to impact the game, and the Eagles come away with the win. So that's and the Eagles played good defense for the most part. They were able to neutralize the Rams passing attack for the most. Did not really let them run the ball specifically in the second half. The defensive line came to play, and the Eagles did what they did defensively to be able to win that game, and they ended up closing the game out for them because the offense just was not helping them out for the most part. And moving on to the Rams side of things, they played well defensively. They played way better defensively than what I thought they were going to do. I thought, again, they were going to get ran over, which they did to a certain... They actually did still get ran over, but that defensive line led by the man up front, he was a beast all game, Jared Verse. He made sacks, he made run stops, and their defensive line as a whole, they had 7 sacks. I mean, they were giving it to Jalen Hurts all game. They were making stops when they needed to get stops and making the Eagles stall drives. I mean, they played exceptional defense on the road in those conditions. They got a nice, talented young group going on in the future, and it's going to be very excited to see how they play out. But offensively, man, the Rams, specifically in the second half, they just stalled out. They couldn't make any plays. They started turning the ball over. Kyren Williams got a terrible fumble. And then that very next drive, Matt Stafford ended up fumbling the ball also as well. Just turnovers. It's just the offense in those conditions. They couldn't do what they wanted to do because the Eagles defensively, they stopped their run game, forcing Matt Stafford to have the drop back and throw the ball. And that D-line was haunting the Rams O-line, even though the Rams O-line held up to a good, pretty decent extent. But at the same time, those conditions with those wide receivers not being able to get a nice grip on the field and be able to get out of their break and make good routes, it was just a bad day for Matt Stafford and them. And they had the opportunity to win the game in the end, and it looked like they had a good chance at winning the game, but they gave up that big sack. Jalen Carter goes unblocked, and here we are now. The Rams are going home. I see them coming back next year with a force to be reckoned with. They want to get in the draft, get some more pieces on the defense. Offensively, I imagine they want to beef up the offensive line going into next year. And they still got Sean McVay. Matt Stafford's going to be coming back next year. You got Puka Nacua. You still got DeMarcus Robinson. You still got Cooper Kupp. Everybody's still there. Tyler Higbee came back from a terrible knee injury from last year. He's going to be fresh next season. You got a lot to build on. Kyren Williams is coming back. You got Blake Corum running. You got a great team. They're going to be contending for the years to come. But I promise you right now, for the Eagles' point of view, if they play like this, Washington is just going to tear them apart. And I say this because Washington is going to score. And right now, the Philly cannot get in a situation where they say, hey, Jalen Hurts, I need you to win me a football game. Because he's not going to do it. Saquon Barkley is single-handedly carrying the Eagles right now. If they did not have Saquon Barkley, I don't know what the Eagles would look like. I don't. Saquon Barkley has put that much emphasis on this offense that he has been the focal point for the Eagles offense all year. I don't know what the Eagles would look like if they didn't have Saquon right now. I just don't. Jalen Hurts, they got to unhook the training wheels for him right now. He's got to be able to throw the ball. This passing game is going to have to evolve because if they get in a dueling match like what Washington had to do against the Lions yesterday, and they go in the Lincoln Financial Field, and with hopefully the weather is better, because if it's in those conditions, obviously that's not going to happen. But if Jaden Daniels is able to go in there and actually throw the air out of the football, and you get in a situation where Jalen Hurts is going to have to pass the ball to win the game, you're not going to win that game. If I'm an Eagles fan, I'm low-key scared right now because this offense is struggling to throw the football consistently. Just Jalen Hurts has not thrown for over 200 yards, and I don't know when. I mean, you're going to have to throw the football if they get in a grudge match, and that is something to look out for next week. And that is really all I have to say. Jalen Hurts was able to use his legs efficiently this game, and it helped elevate them to a win, but Jalen Hurts being injured, possibly not being able to run the ball as well. Hopefully he'll get some steroids in him, and he's able to alleviate that pain and be fresh and ready to go next week. But Sunday's big, and if Washington goes in with that same energy that they had against the Lions, and they force Jalen Hurts to be able to make it a passing game, I'm going to be scared for the Eagles. I'm going to be scared for the Eagles. But that is all I have to say for these two games. If you enjoyed this video and if you enjoy my analysis and thoughts, please do not hesitate to drop a like on the video. If you enjoyed this video, I have countless other sports videos located in the description in my playlist from all the other games for the whole season and in the playoffs in general. If you enjoyed this, if you enjoy any types of pop culture content, any type of Marvel, DC video games, I have those type of playlists down below in my description as well. And it has been a pleasure to be with you guys again. It is a blast doing these videos with you guys, and I look forward to doing the next one. We're going to be talking about what we were just talking about with Jaydens and the guys and the Chiefs and the Texans. We're going to talk about all of that in the next video. But I want to talk about this one because it was the best one. It was my favorite games of the weekend. I will see you guys on the next one. I love you so much. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See you.